This time of year can be a little bit tricky in some growing zones to know when do we amend our soil, should we amend our soil, and then what are the exact nutrients that your plants need to be set up to win over the winter. Now, if you are in USDA zones 3 through 8, you're going into your winter dormancy time. So this is not really the time for you to be amending soils. This is the time that you're covering the soil with grass clippings, leaves that have been chopped up, wood chips, hay, straw, or some type of a green compost. If you are amending your soil in USDA zones 3 through 8, think of things like azomite only. That's going to be a mineral base that will help strengthen your root systems and deliver silica to the new growth that's still hardening off on your plant. Now, if you're in USDA zones 9 through 11, we have to think a little bit differently. So I would divide it into two categories. So category 1 is your food forest, and the second category is going to be more your annual vegetable garden, tomatoes, lettuces, and that sort of thing. Now, with the food forest season is kind of winding down for the year. So we're thinking of things like azomite, Epsom salts, compost, or other fertilizers or amendments that are going to be high in potassium, because that's going to really help harden off the new green growth. So we don't want to be applying nitrogen fertilizers because that's going to give us new growth going into winter months, which is going to risk, things getting frosted and that sort of thing. So focus on, if you're doing the 3 numbers on the fertilizer, focus on that last number, the potassium and or minerals. Now, the opposite is true in USDA zones 9 through 11 for the annual vegetables and our regular vegetable gardens, perennials, that sort of thing. So think things that have a soft stem. Those are types of plants that we want to be pushing new green growth because we want them to be producing for us all winter long. So on those, you're thinking of things like blood meal, because that's going to have that nice nitrogen content that's really going to give those annual vegetables what they need to perform for you for the rest of the season. Now, if you want to go more in depth on this, there is an entire other class on Patreon that you can jump into, and also a quick reference guide on the different types of soil amendments to use at certain types of the year. So hopefully this was helpful to you. As always, have fun, and I'll see you in the garden. But also, if you are on the Patreon community, I'm going to continue this video for a few more minutes and give you some examples of plants that need the nitrogen fertilizer versus ones that need the higher potassium and the minerals to help harden them off. So stay tuned for part 2 if you're in Patreon.